right, so as our participants begin to stream in, now that we've gone live. All right, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are around the globe. Welcome to the 10th annual WBECS Full Summit. Thrilled to have you join us today for today's session, which is a live coaching demonstration with Jean-Francois Cousin. It's Coach versus Chaos, coaching overwhelmed clients in a disrupted environment. And I'll introduce Jean-Francois in just a moment. In the meantime, we have just a little bit of housekeeping. Today's session will last 90 minutes. We'll use the Q&A box to interact with us and to ask any questions that you have or comments that you have for Jean-Francois. The chat box is only going to be used for us to deliver information to you. You'll be able to access links we share by clicking on them or copying them for later use. So as everyone logs in and gets situated, please take just a moment to let me know where in the world you're joining us from today and what's the curiosity that you're bringing with you to this live coaching demo. All right, starting to see folks come in from, England, Hong Kong, again back to the UK, Singapore, Bristol, Portugal, Israel, spanning the US and Canada, back into Italy and Paris. Again, just an incredibly international audience. All right, so my name is David Taylor Klaus, and once again, I'll be your host for Jean-Francois Cousin's session today. And Zishan is taking care of all the logistics. So you'll either hear me call him Zishan or C when we talk about it in the background. At WBECS, our mission is to significantly raise the global standard of coaching. We do this by offering content from world-class experts in leadership and coaching in an affordable and accessible way. We encourage you to continue the conversations on what you're learning throughout the summit in our implementation mastery sessions. We often refer to these as IM sessions. There are small coach-led group sessions where you can connect with the global coach community and discuss what you've learned from today's session and how you can implement it in your practice and your life. The implementation mastery sessions related to today's presentation will take place both 30 minutes after the end of today's session and also next Tuesday. Now, we've just made some more seats available. However, spaces fill up very quickly. You can sign up for these by clicking in the link in the chat box. Z has just put those up there. By clicking the link, you can also find out more about the roundtable sessions, which take place throughout the summit. All right, back to today. In order to make the most of this learning experience, we recommend that you turn off all distractions, prepare to take a ton of notes, and allow yourself to be fully focused and engaged with Jean-Francois for this demo. All right, so I'm going to get started, and I want to introduce Jean-Francois. So he became a global executive coach in 2006 in the wake of a career in management around the world in a Fortune 500 company. By 2020, he had clocked 12,000 coaching hours, served over 1,000 executives and dozens of executive teams, traveling to 35 countries across 5 continents to work with them. He's accredited as a master certified coach by the ICF, the International Coach Federation, the highest distinction in the profession. Jean-Francois coaches CEOs, region and country presidents, board members, most often on executive leadership development, onboarding and role transition, organizational and cultural change, strategic planning, and cross-cultural leadership. Jean-Francois served as the chairman of the global board of ICF in 2019. So, we always do fun facts. And when I asked him this morning, Jean-Francois lit up. What he said is what excites him most this year is his newfound mission to unleash the inner artist within each of us and elevating us to mastery. It's about moving from striving to thriving. All right, so with that introduction, Jean-Francois, the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much, David, for your kind introduction. It's good to be back this fall with you as last year, right? And much gratitude to WBECS for having me again this year. Yeah. I love to have the chance to share a bit of my experience about coaching clients overwhelmed in the disrupted environment of our profound crisis, right? And then engage into a live coaching demonstration with Isabel, whom I'll introduce a bit later today, and then embrace with you a moment of experience sharing about coaching people who are really stressed out by the crisis they go through. And I would like also to just take one more minute to thank you for joining. Some of you come from Asia Pacific, and you stay up very late to make time for this session, right? And then some of you in the Americas are waking up so early. So thanks very much from the bottom of my heart, and I'll try my best to make your efforts worth it. Now, I'd love to turn to you and now say that in my pre-summit session, Coach versus Chaos, I shared some tips, right, to coach clients in a crisis and help them create enduring value for themselves. For those of you who could not attend the session, it's not too late actually, because it was live on Facebook. And if you click or scan the QR code on the right part of the slide, you can be directed to that session, but you can see later. So my recommendation, very practical, is you can like that session as you get to it, and then it'll be at the top of your activity log on Facebook, and then you can watch it when you have time, right? And then that session was in June, and here we are a few months down the road, still striving in a crisis, right? And I wish to ask you, as coaches or leaders using coaching skills, how are the clients you are coaching feeling in this chaotic environment at the moment? And I invite you to scan the QR code again, right? Or alternatively, click on the link that Zichan has just put up in the Q&A box, right? And there, we're gonna together form a word cloud that will give us a sense of the feelings of the people you coach at the moment. Third solution to get to this app, just go to menti.com on your phone and enter the digicode 2315280, 2315280, and let's try something technical here and see if I can pull up the word cloud that you are forming as we speak. Oh my God. We've got already close to 100 contributions here. Look at what's coming up. Here we go. That's the picture. Overwhelmed is really big. Anxious, uncertain, exhausted, confused, tired, frustrated, discouraged, exhausted is getting better, bigger, overwhelmed, worried. Thanks. Well, you know what? I'll save the poll. Thanks very much for participating, and then we'll find a way to have it sent to you somehow, right? So thanks very much again for sharing. Big words: overwhelmed, tired, anxious, exhausted, uncertain, right? Now, you remember, if you attended the session back in June, right? That I had actually borrowed from David Rock, who was saying that neuroscience have identified 5 main boosters of energy or destroyers of energy, which are status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness, right? And in this crisis, of course, we are all at risk of losing some status or certainty, definitely, perhaps autonomy and relatedness, in the sense that we can be physically distant from our loved ones, right? So obviously, a lot of our coaching clients have pain points that stem from the unprecedented level of uncertainty regarding these important boosters of energy, right? And that's when I would love to invite you to reflect how we as coaches and leaders using coaching skills, right, can help the people we coach to reflect and then dare to move forward. So may I invite you to reflect about this as we watch this. How can we help our clients there, right? So let's come back to our mission. Help our coaches, co-workers get a cool and clear mind, think at their very best, and then find a sense of direction, design their way forward, dare to act decisively, and then move forward with confidence and resilience, right? In the pre-summit session back in June, I shared 5 things we can do, right? And I'm going to put them back up. The first one was to center yourself before a session, right? And then connect with your coachee and center your coachee so they become fully present to the session, right? And then I had said that when it comes to objective setting, it's really important to extract the gold from the rock. And I really mean dig into the core of the issue to find a valuable objective and a sustainable outcome right at the beginning of the session. Yeah. And then, of course, it's going to be essential to attend effectively to fears and emotions and pay attention to energy shifts and needs. And then I had told you, it's not the time to be a nice coach. And some were a little bit shocked before I had a chance to explain better. What I meant was it's a time to stretch our coachees towards clarity, decisions, and accountability. It's not a time to do cozy coaching, if it ever were. Yeah. And finally, conclude to build hope with a compelling first step and high energy. And then the result we can expect from taking those actions, right, is more clarity for the coachee, more forward movement, self-confidence, autonomy, and resilience. Now, watch out in the coaching session coming up now, right? I may well employ some of those techniques or actions, right? And I love that you write your observations in the Q&A box as we go through with Isabel. Isabel, who is joining from Singapore, where it's 9:12 p.m. already. And I have to say, Isabel and I, this morning, like 12 hours ago for us, right, had a little check-in. And Isabel told me 12 hours ago she was about to embark on an extremely intense business day, packed back-to-back with business meetings. And before I ask you about it, Isabel, let me introduce you, please, after thanking you wholeheartedly for daring to join our program today and being coached by me. I'm so grateful. Yeah. So Isabel is a managing director and co-founder of the global consulting firm Timeo Performance, active in recruitment and executive search, training, HR, and business performance. Isabel has an experience of over 25 years in the industry in including quite many years with Accenture, actually. And she has built a strong and sustainable leadership teams for her clients. So Isabelle, thank you very much for making your precious time today. It's an honor and a joy to have you on the program. Isabelle, may I ask you, after your very, very intense day, how are you feeling now?
Thank you, Jean-Francois. I'm not sure I had time to reflect on how I'm feeling right now, not to mention the whole day. So let me have a first straight answer. I'm feeling, I think overwhelmed was the word which was really in the center of what you showed earlier. That's how I feel, totally overwhelmed. That's a bit still full of energy, but I don't know if it's positive energy or not.
Yeah, I can hear and see that, right? Hey, what could you do perhaps to let go of the part of the energy that you think is not going to help you fully focus and be present to the session?
Usually if I take time to just pause, maybe breathe or something, like just trying to anchor myself in the moments, that can help. It's not something I do very often, but I think that helps.
Yeah, but perhaps you can do even more of it, right?
Maybe a short break. Am I allowed? With many people waiting for.
You are allowed, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. I think I'm ready now. Yes.
Great, thanks, Isabelle. And so I'd love to know from you what you'd love to explore along our conversation today.
Yeah, thank you for asking and giving me this opportunity. I think along the fact that I'm overwhelmed, I would like to explore how I can probably reprogram the whole way I'm doing things right now, in terms of time spent, energy spent. I think I have the feeling I'm just adding up in the bucket, activities, objectives, tasks, responsibilities, and it just fills up. It's been filling up for the last 7 or 8 months. It's not getting better, and I think I would probably need some support into have some clear picture of how I can stop filling up that bucket. I suspect it's quite full right now.
Yeah, and before I invite you to tell me a bit more, I'm observing, Isabelle, right? You still, I think, perhaps I'm wrong, a bit tense, right? Can I invite you perhaps to straighten your back and breathe deep and take a bit of a distance with the bucket, yeah?
Let me the bucket. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better already.
Yeah, and great smile as well, right? And so I picked up, right, so that it's about reprogramming your time and energy investment, right? And also perhaps taking some decisions about what goes into the bucket, right? And why is that important, or how is that important to you, Isabelle?
I think I got a few signals from my teams and myself, maybe even my body, that I'm taking too much on myself and I maybe not be as efficient sometimes, or as, how would I put it? I even think, sorry, it's tough to reflect on this at the end of the day and after all this, but I believe I have some signals. So yeah, from external signals and maybe some first internal signals, yes,
Yeah.
that I want to listen to.
Yeah, and Isabel, if you perhaps once more straighten your back, take a few more deep breaths, and look at those signals perhaps deep down within you. Can you share with me what you see?
I have some images coming up of those little animals running around in a wheel and just running all day long, achieving a few things, but never stop. And I hear people asking me, we can help, maybe I can help, maybe, I'm part of your team and you're the manager, you can also maybe share some task or something. I heard it, but I still keep it for myself as a responsibility. Yeah.
And so, having shared all of these very important elements of your environment and your life now, Isabel, what is it that you need the most from our session today?
I would need to gain some confidence in the fact that if I am not running the show 100% myself, it can be okay, that other people around can help, can support, would be happy to do it maybe, or would even feel it's their own responsibility. I think I need help to bring in some trust and confidence over the fact that I don't have to take the whole responsibility of those tasks.
Yeah. And Isabel, if we make that happen, then what would be really great value, sustainable value for you and for your life and for your business as well?
I think I could then take over the position that I believe I should take, although it's not really something I really truly deeply believe in right now, but I think then it will help me to take the position of someone who can lead a bit more, who can be more support than a pure doer, and then I would give more visibility to my team, and also I would have more time to check on where I'm going, because for now I'm just running.
Yeah, thanks very much for sharing. And then let's go and explore, right? Isabel, what we can make happen, right? So where would you like to start, Isabel, our exploration?
I would like to start in just concrete things. When I start my day, I still start the day with, okay, this is what I need to achieve for the whole day, and then I'm focused, and I spend the rest of the time just taking care of the team, not asking them to participate to this list of objectives and tasks, but just to support them. I don't. It's so much. It's such a hard time for everyone. I feel even more than usual that I need to be here just for the good times. As in, I always need to be, good shape and smiling, and everything is all right, and everything's going to be all right. So I take even more than usual in the responsibilities and the tasks. And I'm asking a very minimum to my team, and spend more time taking care. I'm so mindful that they're also in a difficult time. Then we've been working from home for a long time. We've been having separate lives, and I don't even know what's happening for them now. And
yeah. So it's go ahead, Isabel.
No, please, no.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? I invited to choose where we start our exploration for, and the moment you said, well, perhaps with concrete things at the start of the day, your stress came back big time. Suddenly you were like this, right, Isabel? So I'm thinking, we go for trial and error or trial and success with equal appetite in coaching. Yeah, Isabel, could we try another entry into the exploration, just for the sake of experimenting?
Okay. What about starting with something simple on a small project where I could gather some of my team and delegate a few tasks, start delegating some of the tasks I'm currently taking on my shoulders. Simple one that I can't do right now.
Yeah. Now it's me, Sai. I'm not seeing the type of energy that would move mountain when you tell we've got to look for something else, perhaps. Isabel, can you perhaps stretch yourself, right? And take a distance above what's happening now, and perhaps imagine what you'd love to have happen instead.
Okay, I can try something more important maybe. In the recruitment business that I'm leading, I'm supposed to have some lead consultant in charge of recruitment projects, right?
Yes.
Since a few months, I'm the lead for each and every project. I don't know how that happened. I have them supporting me for the search and the sourcing, but I'm the lead for all those projects. So I need to interview all the candidates. I need to speak with all the clients. I need to check on everything and review everything. And obviously this is not going to work for the long run. I need to go back to the space where, I was having the big picture and I had my lead consultants in charge. That would be great. I don't know how this thing disappeared. I don't know why I took the whole thing on me, but this happened. I just realized now that you're asking me, this just happened actually, and it's been a while.
Yeah. Interesting.
And I don't think they're happy about it. And my only objective is to make them happy. And I thought I would just help them by taking more and leaving them more space to take care of their own well-being or something. But they don't understand why now I'm taking over all those projects, and I think I'm just getting the opposite of what I'm trying to do.
And you said the only thing that kind of matters to you is to make them happy. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. That's. I made it my mission to ease anything I could from my little perspective, but in their life, in their work life, hopefully in their sometimes personal life. In Asia we mix a lot of both worlds, and it's important to take care of my team. And yeah, I think I wanted them to have the space to reorganize their life around this new normal. and I don't know when I made this decision. I didn't even make the decision. It just happened. And now I'm running the whole thing. And I just realized they might wonder why, if they lost my trust or anything, which is not the signal I want to send, obviously.
Yeah. And so I'm listening to what you said and connecting this with what you said earlier about perhaps a pattern on your side of taking a lot of the responsibilities out there, right, Isabel?
Oh yeah. This is my mission. This has always been in all aspects of my life, and I know it's been something I've been struggling a bit with, because I've always had this feedback as a manager. My team, always say that, let us help you, and I'm thinking, why? No, you don't have to help me. I have to help you, and I know it's been creating a few misunderstanding or sometimes even unhappiness about it, and it's just because I believe, that they're here and they join us in this adventure, and it's really my responsibility everywhere. I have to make it happen. I have to make it the best place to be, to work, to grow. That's my responsibility. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then there was also another Isabel some time back, you said, right? That was in the space of seeing the big picture and delegating some things, right? And you said, well, perhaps Isabel changed somewhere, somehow, right? And can we go deep into perhaps possibilities for you to go back to that other way of being and doing and leading you had then? Would that make sense? Or
that makes a lot of sense, and that's a very interesting path to explore, because if I'm really honest with myself, I don't think this is my natural me. This is something I do as a role, but I think that my deeper me is doing things for others. So it's a bit of a problem in a managerial or leadership role. I've always felt that I had to walk the talk really on the field, on the ground, and to do things as much as my teams, and that I probably didn't deserve, would that be a big word, that maybe deserve the role of just showing the way. I'm not very comfortable with that role finally. Oh my, that's more to explore than I expect.
that's a good thing, I believe, Isabel. And may I perhaps nudge you into perhaps expressing what you deserve? And I have a question, Isabel. I just coached you one time in my life before today, right? So I don't know what really works for you, but would kind of drawing what you deserve on a piece of paper with a pen would be something that perhaps seems like you'd like to try it, or does not inspire you? Drawing what you deserve.
Wow. I can try. Let me see what I have here. Oh, what I deserve. Well, ooh.
Take your time. Breathe.
Something which comes is I'm a very super bad drawer, so
Two of us.
I don't know if that makes sense. That's what comes to my mind. We're in a safe environment, right?
Yeah,
So what comes to my mind, it really out of the blue, right? That's a sea, that's a boat, a few people, but I'm the one here showing the sun. That's so I'm not necessarily, doing more than anyone else on the boat. I'm just showing that it's a sunny day and it's all right, even if the sea is a bit shaky. I don't know if it's what I deserve, but this is what I want to do with what I'm doing.
Got And now in your voice, Isabel, I heard something new, which is determination. I don't know if that's what it is, but that's what I want, right? Now, something like that. So what just what just happened?
First, I feel super calm. I don't know if it's the boat or the sun. The drawing, I feel calm because I think this is what I love doing, and this is what I believe I'm good at, and this is what I want to do more. And I don't think this is what I'm doing now with this overwhelming activities I'm pursuing.
Yeah.
So in fact, I think I'm just doing exactly the opposite of what I should be doing to achieve my objective.
Yeah, you think, yeah? And how about feeling about what you're doing versus perhaps?
Well, when I'm thinking about what I'm currently doing, I have those bugs in my stomach, and on the spot, I'm very reactive. So on the spot, my body's like, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but and when I'm looking at the drawing and where I want to be and what I want to do, then it feels really good. Then even my body is responding.
Yeah, I can sense that absolutely and see that too. So knowing that now about yourself, right, Isabel, what do you want to do next with regards to your objective, right, for the conversation today?
I think I need to pause. I need to just cut the flow I'm currently writing and make space for the others to come back nearly to me again, as in I need a way to feel secure in stopping the movements. The thing is, running makes me somehow not having to think about where or what I'm doing. So maybe I see some comfort in that, but I don't think it's a long-term thing. So I think I need to pause. I really need to take a break. Hey, thank you, Jean-Francois. Now I know I'm going to take leaves. I know where I'm going.
Yeah, and thanks for the great smile. So interesting, right? You've said the word running 4 times, the word stop once or twice, perhaps, and pause 2 times. The balance is not very convincing for me, right? There is 4 running against 2 pause and 1 or stop or something. Yeah, I'd love to be convinced, Isabel, but I've got to say it like I feel it is, for better or worse. I'm not convinced yet. Yeah, are you?
I'm a runner, by the way, so it's an easy metaphor for me. I'm convinced, this is what I need to do. Yeah. Now I'm not necessarily convinced I can do it right now, but I'm definitely convinced this is where I need to go. Yeah, and what I need to do.
Okay.
As in someone else, like when you have the little angel and the little devil, and I know one speaks here and says you should stop running. Yeah, but no, come on, you have all this.
Yeah.
So I know this one is right, but this one is super strong. It's using my little flaws, or big ones. It's very strong, this one also.
And it's experience as well. It's strong because it's experience, right? All right. So what can we do then, perhaps, so that the little angel that's saying you need to pause has more more of the share of voice in your mind?
I need to look at the drawing more. It really, I'm gonna keep it. Really, I'm gonna keep it with me. I think this is like a, you know, an anchor that can help me remember that this is what I want. And then what can we do? Find some safe space to do it. Start with something not too big.
Yeah.
A small first task or project or something, or I could start completely the other way. Maybe I could just, you know, have a team meeting and say, well, you know, this is what's been happening. I just realized, and what do you think? And maybe I could bring them in and ask them for some feedback and tell them that I believe maybe it's time to start a new journey in this whole crisis thing, and I'm ready to do it with them, and we can build this new first step together. Maybe I can just open up if I'm secure enough.
Yeah, so then what is it gonna be?
Yeah, it can be, we haven't done, you know, we've done a few small gathering, and I'm having a lot of one-on-one to make sure that, you know, everyone is okay, and I'm doing really every day, but we haven't had maybe enough more group gathering where I can do this, where I can be this one here and say, well, you know, I know I've been running a bit, but this is, you know, we're doing good. We're doing really much better, and the sun is there, and the sea is calming down, and this is what's happening and what can happen. The perspective gives some vision that the sun is shining again.
And then this happens, right, Isabelle? And what do you want to happen next?
I think next would be something. I think a signal that something is starting to change is that I would then not be in this one-way conversation I've been in finally for the last couple of months, but I would be receiving a lot of caring also from, you know, other way, and ideas and feelings expressed, and hey, you know, why don't we try this or that? I mean, opening the door to others speaking up and having maybe great suggestions that I don't think I've let any room for the past couple of months.
Yeah, and as you say that, your energy is so open, right, Isabelle? Wow, and very congruent, right? So it's very interesting. There was this moment when you talked about create a safe space and then have a team meeting and just explain everything, right? You had the energy of strong determination that you had a bit earlier on after you draw, right? And then that went on to very open, receiving kind of way of being, right, Isabelle? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm very blessed to have a super strong and great team. I mean, there's no reason why I shouldn't, you know, let them in some ways. I've been trusting them for long, and the other way around. So I don't know what I believe I shut a big door, and I just want to open it up again, and I know I'm gonna, you know, fill my tank again with lots of great ideas and energies and happiness.
Yeah. So what then will happen to gaining confidence that if you don't run the show 100%, it can be good and people can be happy?
Because then I can also, I fully trust them first. So there is no reason why I shouldn't do it and why I should be scared of doing it. Second, then I could take back my role over again of being here for support, being here for some advice and of course, some areas where I have more expertise, but not the whole bucket. So that would be great because they have lots of talents and willingness to help. And I receive, if I'm looking at my computer notes or anything, I receive dozens of messages every day. How can we help? Where can we help? Oh, let me do it. Or why? Well, no, I can do it. I can help you with that. And it's always no worries. It will take only 5 minutes. I can do it. So I guess I'm gonna open the door to a lot of opportunities again and great things for sure. I know.
I love it. What I'm not very comfortable yet, Isabel, is there is some tentative language like I guess, maybe, perhaps, I could. So my question, Isabel, in closing, right, the conversation is: are you going to be, as a leader, walking out of this conversation with your people so that you get the outcome that you've wanted to gain from our conversation?
I guess those words are just a very, it's just my own beliefs, which sometimes interact with other things. But if I'm just truly looking at the situation that I know well, and there is no doubt. I mean, I know this is going to happen, and this has to happen because this is where the sun is shining. Is when, we're all working on this thing together, and people are proud of making it happen, and it's and they contribute. And I've read your PowerPoints, and then one of the first slides that you showed earlier. They need to contribute. They need to have an impact. They need to be empowered, and that's everything I want. I don't want anything else. So.
Okay. So, how will you keep yourself accountable then, Isabel, for walking the talk?
I think I need to write down what we, important things that that we discussed, and that I just very naturally expressed with so much sincerity. I need to write it down because I might forget about it, or I might put a cover on it later on once this emotion is gone. I work a lot on emotion, so emotion triggers a lot of things for me. So if I'm putting a cover on the emotion again, then I might lose it. So I want to write it down. I can keep the drawing. I want to write it down, and I'm starting. I have a concrete example where I can start, and I'm making really myself a mission as an accountability to start tomorrow to empower one of my lead consultants on a project that I was starting to work on myself since this morning, and I there is no reason. So I'm gonna start tomorrow, and then I know if I start there, then it's just a ball rolling. So it's now. Great. I might even prepare the email just after the session, so I'm sure I'm definitely accountable for it.
On the energy, right? Run, but just for that one, right? And then take a break in the evening, right? So thanks so much, Isabel. I'm curious, what have you learned that's most important to you along our conversation today?
I think from a situation where you asked me about, where I am, and it was so much things to think about, or it was so, again, overwhelming. I realized that it's just down to maybe one one trigger that I can decide to pull, and it's an obvious one now. It was not earlier. I think the most precious thing I learn is I'm pretty good at blinding myself in a way to make sure that what I do is confirming what I want to believe. So it's quite strong. I'm quite strong with that, and I just realized that doors can be open, but I wouldn't do it just by myself. That's for sure. So I probably need some more sessions.
With you, of course, Isabelle, at your convenience, right?
Thank you.
Again for your generosity and your authenticity, and all the passion that you've invested in that exploration of ours today. I was very inspired, Isabelle. Much gratitude for all you did and for who you've been in this session. It's an honor to have worked with you. Thank you very much again, Isabelle, for your precious time and for the gift.
Thank you very much.
This comes to everyone on the call. Stay well.
Thank you very much.
Now, at your convenience, as promised, Isabelle. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jean-François.
So very welcome, Isabelle, and thanks everyone for your comments in the Q&A box. I would love to now, invite you to share in a poll I'm going to draw what you observed in the session. Right, I had hinted that you might like to watch out which of these various things that, in my experience, are helpful to do sometimes when we coach someone in a session. To do, which one popped up in your opinion? So please answer the poll. That will help me also think back about the session, right? Because it's very difficult to objectively analyze a session you've just done. So thanks for the help out there.
All right, let's give the poll a little bit more time because we've got about 30% have voted so far.
Yeah.
Wait till it slows down a little bit. All right, so half our folk have voted.
Yeah.
So far, attending to fears, emotions, and paying attention to energy shifts and needs is in the lead a good bit.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give it another 10 seconds and then we'll close the poll.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. All right, here we go.
Getting to close to 600 voters already. That's a big turnout.
Yeah. Okay, so here are the results. Yes, so attending to fears and emotions, pay attention to energy shifts and needs at about, that's huge. Right, and then connect with and center your coachee. Those are the two highest.
Yeah, great. Yep, and
I'm sorry, I've got to click the share the results so people can see it. My apologies.
So
now people should be able to see it.
Yeah, great. So still quite a bit of all of those actions, right? And attending to fears and emotions, paying attention to energy shifts and needs came out big time. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for playing with this poll, everyone, and thanks, David, for making it happen. I'd love to take you to a very precious moment, I think, for our conversation today, and that is an experience sharing from all of us on the call, right? Along those critical things we can do to help our clients shift from striving to thriving in a crisis, right? And I'd love to invite you to share best practices or good practices that you do in the Q&A, so everyone else on the call and me too can benefit from them. And as you do that, I will share mine as well, in fact, right? And as you get in your...
So Jean-Francois, one quick request to the participants. If you can put best practice at the beginning of your comment, because so many people are still commenting on the coaching itself and sending love to you and Isabel. So if you're going to share a best practice, please in the Q&A write best practice at the beginning and then share, so I know which to pull for Jean-Francois.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks very much. And as you do that, thanks, David. A couple of good practices from me. Clear your mind from anything that may disturb your presence to the conversation, right? And of course, invite the coachee to do the same, which I did with Isabel. And then take time to genuinely inquire about how your coachee is feeling, right? And however long that takes, because they've got to feel ready for the conversation to take off, right? Listen for unmet needs, anxieties, areas of confusion, and also physical or mental, emotional or spiritual health, right? And perhaps you can find it helpful sometimes to ask, what do you most need from me or from the conversation today? As I asked Isabel, actually, and David, what's coming up in the...
So far, getting a number of folks that are speaking to mindfulness practice and to centering with both coach and coachee. Let's see, breath work again. Ask my client to pause and take a few breaths. So that seems to be a huge number of them. Breath and stretching combined with affirmations. Starting the session with centering again. We've got huge skew towards centering and mindfulness. Yeah. Pausing to recontract as clients' thinking may have shifted. Clarifying the topic as they move forward. Visualization, and again, more deep breathing exercises. Yeah. Together, coachee and I take 3 deep breathing stretches before we begin. Control the advice monster, Zoe.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Well, thanks very much, everyone. Keep looking, right? This is so rich. Thanks for your generosity, right? And then let's pick everyone's mind about how we can best attend to clients' needs and fears, emotions, and energy in the service, of course, of restoring mind sanity. And while you offer your good practices, here are a few of mine. So first is to listen for needs and fears and emotions, and listen to them, of course. Ask for them, like, could it be useful to identify your current fears and then find out which of them you might be able to do something about, right? Or ask what message or lesson could those fears or emotions be carrying for you. Detect energy shifts. So you saw me very intensely focused on this with Isabel, right? And I have a sense that helping Isabel gain awareness of those energy shifts was tremendously important in the progress of her work along the conversation. Yeah. And you heard me also ask what just happened inside when I saw a very high determination energy in Isabel, and that was really, I think, helpful. Yeah, when your coach's thinking is stuck, which absolutely did not happen with Isabel today, then suggest breathing or just standing up, taking a few steps around the room, right, to just disrupt the thinking, and you will see new ideas pop up. Yeah. Do ask, what do you most need? What would be most helpful right now, right? In the dance of coaching. And if you, and as you emphasize, it's really important you stay detached. You heard me say that previously, right? So you can stay a solid thinking partner to your coaching. David, what's coming up? I'm very excited to know.
More best practice. I'm struck by how many are aligning around centering and breathing and mindfulness. It's like these people have been attending WBECS for years. Yeah, getting comfortable, taking a breath again, start from know-nothing state, make deep rapport, listen attentively to surfacing what the client's takeaways are.
Yeah.
little longer centering, showing how to do it, modeling it, visualization. Lots of comments about whether you knew she was a visual processor or not, offering up the opportunity to draw as a great way to surface what's happening. Some comments about connecting with the client, asking them how they are, and then just some rapport building, even with an existing client.
Yeah.
Ooh, surfacing a recent achievement as a way to shift their attention and energy. Allowing for silence. Several along the lines of silence.
Yeah.
Ask for a positive moment. Peak experience. What's worked before.
Yeah, thank you very much, David. Let's move to, and thanks everyone, right? Let's move to that other practice of identifying and resolving what will most help the client to steer away from overwhelming crisis mode, if you will, and then create enduring value for them, right? So perhaps what you picked up I was doing with Isabel was well, digging for the gold out of the rock. So after I asked Isabel what she would like to explore today, I asked to her how and why is that important to her, and then we went to a deeper level, in fact, right? And then only then I asked her what she most needed from the session. In another way, it was about the objectives she would like to set for the conversation, right? And then I asked her also what could be great, valuable outcome that could be sustained over time for her, right? And then we started the exploration. Now, you perhaps agree with me, we need to fearlessly go to the core of the issues, right? In the amount of time we have, right? With Isabel, we wanted to conclude the conversation in 30 minutes. So of course we could have enjoyed going much deeper together if we had more time, right? Yeah. So what's coming up, David, in the Q&A from all of you?
There are so many. We'll get to some of the comments later, but the number of questions. All right. So I'm noticing how seductive story and detail can be. There were so many suggestions ranging from where to have taken the coaching to a slew of suggestions around powerful questions and even how to fix the issue that Isabel was surfacing. So I'm curious about, and the audience seems to be very curious about how you chose the path to follow.
Oh, I didn't choose the path to follow. It manifested itself. It was a co-creation, right? I have no clue where we went, how we went, right? It was just, I think, a shared inspiration from kind of the dance of Isabel and me, right? I did not choose a path for the conversation, and I would consider that not a wise thing to do. To me, Isabel is in command. I am at her service. If anyone would choose a way ahead, it would be her. Now I could object and challenge, right? But much better. What happened almost all of the time is we co-create the way ahead, and it just happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope I'm making sense.
Oh no, very much. Adriana asked, "How do you?" So it appears through the questions that a bunch of folks feel like Isabella has been coached before, and some of the questions that surfaced were, "How do you face a new coachee who's never been coached and has no idea how to answer or follow along with what would you like to discuss today?"
Okay. So then, when that happens, right? Then you pick one of the words was the most loaded with energy or emotion, right? And you say, hey, I'm curious about that word. You say there was some energy behind, right? Can you tell me about the word and the energy, right? So that you start the exploration at a deep level, right? Right away, right? So find from what has been said something that is emotionally or energy loaded, and question it, right? And there, with someone who has never been coached before, who does not even know what coaching it is, you take the conversation to the deep level where it needs to happen, in fact. Make sense? Yeah?
So this one's a very practical question. Brigitte would like to know, is there something in the conversation that systematically triggered your silence, like a symptom?
Yeah. Unconditional regard for my client, Isabel, in this case, right? She's resourceful, all creative, and I had she had more to say, right? And each time I prolong the silence, I'm inviting the client to take more ownership, right? And all I want for Isabel is to take ownership of her way forward, right? And so silence is my best friend sometimes, yes, at moments in conversation, yeah? Yeah.
So this didn't show up in the coaching, but what the question that surfaced is, how do you navigate when your client is very stuck or unwilling to move away from their story and feeling?
Yeah. So so a couple of ideas. First, I would ask why they not to explain me why they're not willing to move away, even just for a moment, right? So, or and if they are not that adamant to stay fixed with their obsession, right? Then I'd invite them to stand up, take a few steps around the room, right? To take a distance from the topic, see it from different perspectives, right? And perhaps tell me about what they see from different areas of the room, right? And so to unstack their thinking, right? And another way is to say, okay, yeah, it seems, well, I'm stuck in my thinking of this. Are you too? And if they say yes, so then we can recontract, right? And say, all right, so what do we do to get unstuck, right? In a kind of a brotherly manner, right? Now, I need to move to the next and last sharing about generating hope with a compelling first step and high energy at the end of a session, right? It's really important, and I totally love the energy that Isabel generated for herself at the end, and the confidence she exuded, and I trust that she's going to walk the talk. And so here are a few concrete things I put put out just there in case one of them would be helpful for you, right? It's the first one is, if you could take only one step, which one would be the most valuable for you, right? And that's especially useful if clients are very ambitious about the steps they want to take after the session, right? They have a big action plan, but we are in a crisis, right? So there are lots of fires to take care of, and I would have no confidence in a ambitious action plan to be followed, right? I'd much rather have my client go for just one action, like Isabel. She just went for one action, right? She identified perhaps something to do that had a massive impact on moving forward the whole situation in a good way, right? And for me, it's very reassuring, right? I asked Isabel, what have you learned today that's most important to you? And she told me also what she's learned about herself. And for me, of course, I was interested, but also I was caring that she articulates her learning so that it goes even deeper into her mind and in her memory, right? And some of the things perhaps we can do with our coaches who are overwhelmed at the end of a session is asking them 3 things they can do to improve their self-care, their resilience, right? I always love to inspire, to share with my coaches how they inspire me, because they don't just inspire me, they inspire my whole life. I'm so grateful to them. And I think they need to hear that from us as well, right? And then with this, I'd love to, just before we go for a Q&A, go a bit deeper now, right? We've been tackling a lot of the doing of the coach, working with overwhelmed clients. And now I'd love to go deeper to perhaps working out the way of being that coaches can adopt to best serve their clients in a crisis, right? And I'd love to just share with no comment first a few thoughts that perhaps will inspire you as you reflect about evolving the way you are with your clients. And the first couple of thoughts are coming from Asian philosophers from 3,500 years ago. First one is Lao Tzu, who said, "To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders." So much for the mindfulness you noted in your comments in the Q&A as so very helpful. Lao Tzu as well, the way to do is to be. Then one more from Confucius, right? Everything has its beauty, but not everyone sees it. How does that resonate with your posture as a coach? I'd like to say, in addition, love your clients' pains and yours too in the first place, because they can be such a great source of inspiration. And I remember Lady Gaga saying in an interview, I think with Oprah, you've got to really go deep inside yourself to the areas you don't normally look for, you are afraid of, because that's where the diamonds are. And she also said the best advice she ever received was, if you don't have any shadow, then you're not standing in the light. And then with this, I'd love to say one more thing. You see what you are pure enough to receive. And there again, we've got mindfulness as a fantastic tool to help us see more, right? So now the next piece of advice comes from Steve Jobs, and this is something we watch.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
And I'm really thinking in this time, we have, as coaches and leaders coaching people, right, to allow ourselves a bit of craziness seriously, yeah? Because that shall expand the spectrum of possibilities and can enrich our clients' forward thinking with fresh creativity. And what I'm talking about here at a deep level, right? A deeper level, right? Is really about inviting your artistry to illuminate and elevate your mastery as a coach or as a leader, in fact, because I've come to recognize that in this crisis, our mastery may not be sufficient. Artistry will be necessary too. And I'd love to invite you to reflect for just not even a minute and do so as you watch Picasso at work. Yeah, you see that little wink from Picasso just for you, right? And with this, of course, I'm asking you what is artistry for you, and I'd love to share what thoughts came up to my mind and to my good friend Dr. Elena Espinal, MCC, based in Mexico and Buenos Aires, as we were discussing how important it is to elevate and illuminate our mastery with artistry, right? So we thought of mastery, there are so many ways to define it, right? But as perhaps an effortless and flawless use of technique that goes with a profound knowledge of your craft, whether you are a leader or a coach, right? And some level of wisdom. And then what came up amongst many ideas about artistry was the first one was that it's anchored to your mastery. Eleanor was telling me last night, you can't become an artist painter if you can't paint by yourself before the face of a human being that can be recognized, right? But then, of course, there is more, right? Artistry will unleash your imagination, a word that we see in more and more business reviews, right? It will not seek perfection or correctness. Instead, it will be original, distinctive of you, remembered over time, and also inspire across diversity. Now, why it matters really is in a crisis, if we keep doing the same old things, we keep getting the same old things as well. In this crisis, we have a price to pay with the stress, but we may have a gift to gain, and that is the gift of reinvention. In fact, illuminating our mastery with artistry, yeah? And then as a coach or a leader, showing up as artists and letting go of control, right? Creating therefore a space for others to be freer, to become more creative, right? Appreciating the whole of the people and not just from a cognitive perspective, right? Having ultimately the unknown, which is so big in a crisis, becoming a compelling inspiration for positive disruption. And so I wanted to plant that seed in the conversation, at the same time tell you that, as I said just before, the way will appear as you walk out, right? It will just happen, just like we found the way with Isabel with no plan ahead, in fact. And with this, I'd love to, just thank everyone for all the contribution. I'll try and read everything that you've said before, said in the Q&A box, right? And just in conclusion, say, let's all as coaches fulfill our mission, which is not just to awaken human potential, but which is also to awaken human consciousness. We've got great work to do. Let's bring our best, and we will help shape a world that will unleash great new possibilities. With this, David, I think it's more than time we come to the Q&A, right? There's more good things coming up. Yeah.
We probably got about 3 hours worth of questions in here, so I'll try to draw from this. But I wanted to share for you and Isabel first a comment that came in earlier. Lorna had said, wow, this entire session and presentation and demo has been done with folks where English is not their first language. And there was much love and kudos from folks who were non-native English speakers for how beautiful that was. So I wanted to acknowledge both of you on behalf of the folk who are attending.
Thank you on behalf of Isabel and me. I hope we were understandable. We tried our best.
Absolutely. And also, lots of comments about Isabel's bravery and acknowledging her for being so vulnerable and open with just a small audience of 1,000 people. So much love there as well. Yes, much acknowledgement of your bravery, Isabel. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you.
A question that surfaced a couple times, Jean-Francois, is more of an industry level question that, you know, in the US, one needs a license to practice, to be a practicing counselor or therapist. And how are you differentiating and drawing the line between counseling, therapy, and coaching?
Okay, well, then I'd say, first of all, there's a brilliant white paper from the International Coach Federation that is going to express this super clearly and way better than I could ever try. So to find it, you just Google ICF white paper referral. ICF white paper referral, right? And then you'll have this wonderfully and very practically laid out, right? There are actually two documents, a one-pager for those who have no time, and for those who really want to go in depth into the issue, it's a document with 28 pages, and it's all free of charge for everybody in the world, right? Because it's so important that the ICF wants to offer that to everyone, right? Yeah. And so I'd say it's the main limit for us as coaches who are not qualified in other disciplines, right? Is we've got to focus on the present and the future. We cannot explore the past. That does not mean that we cannot be there, be present to our client when they look into the past, right? But then we cannot intervene because we're not qualified to do that, right? So if Isabel had decided to go and explore the past, right, and a few times she could have, right, because she was mentioning some things in the past, then I would have been there with her, for her, without intervening, yeah?
Beautiful, thank you. Also, during the session, Isabel made a number of comments that would have triggered a question that would sound something like, where did that impression or perception come from? The conversation didn't go there. We had a number of folks that were really curious why.
Yeah, so the conversation could have gone so many ways, right? Isabel was super inspiring. She was bringing an enormous amount of possibilities for our exploration, right? And I'm not able to tell you why I decided, for my humble part in the game, to do what I did, right? It was just intuition, in fact, right? I saw many opportunities of things to explore, and then I just let my intuition tell me what perhaps I could bring to the conversation to Isabel, right? So there was no strategy on my part. Like I said before, in fact, it's a co-creation, right? The co-development of the path ahead. It appears as we go. And then, of course, we could redo that session many times, and each time come out with additional valuable outcome, right? There's so many exciting things to explore that Isabel presented, right?
So for those that are coaching both inside and outside of corporate, Adriana asked a question: if the coachee is reluctant or resistant towards like energy or dance or mindfulness or anything related to soft skills, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, so then we tread carefully, Adriana, one step at a time, right? So it matters that over time, coaches gain that self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-confidence to mobilize more than just their left brain or cognitive intelligence into the conversation, right? Because then they will be a lot more creative and a lot more resourceful to design solutions for their future, right? And then they will be able to shift not only the way they do things, but also the way they are, right? Then they will unlock far more possibilities, right? But I said, tread carefully, one step at a time. We cannot stretch the coachee more than the limit, right? Otherwise, then we shift from supporting and challenging helpfully to risking to hurt, right? Yeah, but Adriana, I would say, do in service of the coachee, keep the ambition step by step to have them gain confidence of more, with more of their being than just the being as it is at the moment, right? That will be massive value you will help them create for their future.
Jean-Francois, Barry and Flavia and a number of folks asked questions along the lines of, noting how you challenged her and how that bold challenge of sometimes accepting, but often not accepting the answer, or when she tried to take herself off the hot seat. So can you speak more to the challenging aspect of the coaching?
Yeah, and more generally about questions, right? So I've said that quite often. What matters most in coaching is not your question or your challenges. It's the intention for your work in service of the coachee. And with Isabel and with all my wonderful clients around the world, my intention is to help them help themselves, right? And I challenge from that perspective, right? My job is, how can I help Isabel help themselves, right? It's not about me helping her. I'm a wrong person to do that. Anyone is a wrong person. She can help herself better than anybody, right? So that's my intention. And then I can challenge in so many ways, but as long as it's really attached to that intention, in my experience, clients do not take it for something else that would come from a place of perhaps lack of support, right? Or challenging mindlessly for the purpose of ticking the box. I challenge my client. No, it's yeah. I hope I'm making
part of it.
Bit tired. I'm so sorry. It's been a very, very long day for me.
All right, to be fair, since we have just time for one more question of you, so many people asked for the link to the DARE video that you put up there. So if you could provide that in some way,
right,
that will satisfy many of the folks.
Right away. I'm going to do that now. Yeah, just and I can answer the last question if there is one last question, right?
Perfect. So while you're pulling that.
Yes.
So just a beautifully fluid coaching, many comments about the mastery and getting to see a brilliant coach do brilliant work. And